about some of my experiences that I've had spiritually, and they're not all pleasant, and this one certainly is not that. This probably happens to a lot of people across the world, whether they know it or not, and I will say the signs of when it's happening to you. But it happens to me pretty much every new and full moon. It's been happening for years. I know that it happened to my mother and my grandmother. It isn't something that's talked about because you can't see the perpetrator or the person that's doing this to you. Although one time I did catch one of them and was able to see them and exactly who it was. But there is something that they do to us while we're dreaming, in our sleep. They do SA us in the spiritual realm, and it can be very malicious and violent. I now know, because of my spiritual training I've received from the Divine Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and my spiritual team, I now know when this is happening to me, because I can feel it every time it does, and it is really as bad as it being done to me here in the physical realm. It's just as bad as that. It is a SA. It makes you feel the same way, the same humiliation, the same shame, the same everything. It affects you. It affects your mind. It affects your soul, because that's what is getting SA'd. And it affects your physical body if you are a psychic medium. And you can really feel it. And this does happen to me whenever they're doing sex magic, love spells, lust spells. They throw all of that at once, and I can truly feel it. And it really does upset me, because there's no way to bring justice to this, because there simply are no laws in the physical realm against this. And there's not really any way that I know of, which I'm looking into it, to stop it completely. You know, I do cord cuttings, I do protections, I do put up barriers, I do a lot, I really do. But to no end, somehow they always end up breaking through and doing this to me. I know that it can't be a large crowd of men, but I do know it is men. And they have to understand that this is wrong, but they're hiding it. You know, they're hiding so that they don't have to get in trouble for it, and they can continue the behavior. And I am just really sick of it, so I really tuned into it to figure out what it is and to try to find a way to stop it. Being aware of it does help. It does help it to move away from you. Prayers have helped a lot. But I cannot be in a public place when this happens, because I do have tremors and that sort of thing with it. Because it really is something that affects not just my soul but my body, because I'm actually an empath and I'm very tuned in to how I feel, and that actually helps me to protect myself. And it helps me to tell my spiritual team exactly what's happening to the in the moment, so that they can help me. It's very disturbing to me that this is something that's been going on for many, many, many lifetimes, for many, many people. I know that I'm not the only one, and it's hard for people to talk about it because you can't see who's doing it. They're doing it to you in the spiritual realm. And there is a difference between dreams and waking up in a dream. I know that when you wake up in a dream, you view it, you come back here, and you remember it. You were in the spiritual realm. You were viewing the reality of your spiritual realm and what was happening there at that time that you were there. These are out of body experiences, and I used to have them very often, but my dreams were turned off a while ago, and very, very rarely do I have a dream that I can remember. When these attacks happen, I'm not dreaming, I'm awake. And how I feel it is through these tremors. Sometimes I definitely feel needles in my skin. There's a lot of itching too, and there's no reason for that. It only happens in a certain spots, and it's very obvious what it is. I just want to talk about it because when I tell the truth about things like this, I know that it helps other people that are having a spiritual awakening or on a spiritual journey to get through it and overcome it. Because, in all honesty, that's not the worst thing that could happen to us. We can get over that. We don't have to let it bring us down. It is disturbing, and definitely it can be a very vicious and malicious act just because of how they hide it. But I know that God sees all, and He has saved me from many of these attacks. The best thing to do if you are an empath and you feel it is to most likely get out of the room that you're in and go into a different room where the attack will not be so severe. And definitely keep your prayers and your spiritual protection up, because that really has saved my life on many, many occasions. There are side effects from these things that are thrown at us. Even if you can't see it hit you, you'll feel it and you'll know it. And it can be devastating when you are drained constantly and you don't even have the energy to get up out of bed. That is something else that happens during this, and it is very, very disturbing that someone can do this and get away with it. I just wanted to share this because it happens too often to too many people. Many people don't overcome it. It eats at them, it bothers them, and they can't get over it because they can't understand it. They know something's happening, they know that it is definitely not a good thing, and they don't know how to stop it. And that's exactly how I spent most of my life searching for the truth about this, because it didn't just happen to me. It happened to my mother, my grandmother, and most likely my children. And that's what's even more disturbing, is that it didn't just happen to me, it happened to them. And I want these people brought to justice, if not by the physical world, definitely by the spiritual realm. Because my kids didn't deserve this. I didn't deserve it. My mom and my grandma. Nobody deserves to have this happen to them. All so that men can have ownership and control over a woman. A secret society. It's in the words society. A group of people. A gang of people. And they all have a big secret to keep. Energy harvesting is probably something that we should all be talking about, because it's a real thing, and too many people lose their life force over other people's greed and unwillingness to see the truth. God bless.